Welcome everyone to our few minutes together on the Parsha. This Shabbos we're going to have the privilege of reading two Parshios, Matos and Masei, the last two Parshios in Chumash Bamidbar, of course, after which we say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nis chazek, that we should strengthen ourselves and be strong. And certainly at this time of the year, when we are in a semi-mourning mode, especially as this Shabbos is the beginning of the 9 days. Actually, Friday, Rosh Chodesh, is the beginning of the 9 days. And it's a period of mourning over the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. We need to give ourselves chizuk. We need to give ourselves a sense of strengthening that despite all, and despite all that we have gone through in this world, in the history of the Jewish people, all the way back to the destruction, to this day, we're still here, and we are not only here, but thank God we're vibrant, and we can say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nis chazek. In line with the concept of chizuk, towards the beginning of the Parsha of Matos, right after the chapter with Nedarim, Hashem speaks to Moshe and he says, Nikom nikmas b'nei Yisrael me'es hamidyanim. Take revenge, the revenge of the Jewish people against the Midianites. And then he says, Achar te Yosef el amecha, and then you will be gathered to your people, which is a euphemism for Moshe's going to Olam Haba, meaning he is going to die. Despite that, immediately, Vayedaber Moshe el ha'am leimar, Moshe speaks to the nation saying, Heicholtsu meyetchem anashim latzava, make yourselves ready and become a chalutz, a pioneer, to go and prepare yourselves to join the army. V'yiyu al Midyan, and they will be the soldiers who will be against Midyan. Loseis nikmas Hashem b'Midyan, to take the revenge of God against the Midianites. Now there are many, many aspects of these psukim that we could speak about that are quite unusual. I'd like to focus on two and show that there's a parallel between both of them. The first is that when Hashem says to Moshe, take revenge, he says, Nikom nikmas b'nei Yisrael me'es hamidyanim, take the revenge of the Jewish people from Midian. When Moshe speaks about it, he says, V'yiyu al Midyan loseis nikmas Hashem b'Midyan, that the revenge will be the revenge of Hashem against Midian. Now, is it the revenge of the Jewish people, or is it the revenge of Hashem? The second unusual thing is that when it's talking about the Bnei Yisrael, it says, Me'es HaMidyanim, take revenge from the Midianites, plural, while when it talks about Moshe saying, take the revenge of Hashem, it says b'Midyan, as if they are a single entity. Rashi comments on the fact that it's called by God, Nikmas b'nei Yisrael, the revenge of the Jewish people, and Moshe says it's the revenge of Hashem. Rashi says, L'fisha amdu keneged Yisrael, because they stood against the Jewish people, nechshavu heim ki'ilu amdu keneged HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They are considered as if they stood against Hashem himself. Reb Simcha Zisel from Kelm, the great Baal Musar, but so positive Musar, said, from here we see that if one harms the Jewish people, it is as if they are harming God himself. And the converse holds true. If one does good to the Jewish people, it's as if they are doing good to Hashem himself. In this period of mourning, when we're worried about the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash and we're mourning over it because of man's inhumanity to man, because the Jews were not good to each other, now is the time for us to be good to each other so that we can be said to being good. It's as if we're being good to Hashem himself. We're connecting ourselves directly with Hashem by virtue of being good with our fellow man. So therefore, If we're good to our fellow man in God's eyes, even though in the eyes of the Jewish people, it looks as if our enemies are insurmountable and they're numerous, as if they are Midyanim, many, but when we are good to each other, it brings our relationship closer to Hashem himself, and then they are looked upon as if they are one single nothing entity, just Midyan. So, the Borough Shalom says, take revenge against the Midyanim. Moshe says, take revenge against Midyan, because the revenge is God's. And when the Jewish people are hurt, and we're good to them, then that means we're connected with Hashem. If you're bad to the Jewish people, it's as if you're bad to Hashem. You're good to the Jewish people, you're good to Hashem. And when you're good to the Jewish people, even though the Jewish people may think their enemies are numerous and insurmountable, it ends up that they're only one b'midyan, and it's the revenge that Hashem takes, and is certainly to be victorious. What a powerful, positive idea, that we could take a chizuk, that if we are only caring more about each other, trying to be nice to each other and work together for achdus, for shalom, shalom bayis in our homes, shalom in our shuls, shalom in our friends, shalom between different sects of the Jewish people, different types of Jews, and coming together, it's as if we're being good to Hashem, and then all our enemies are as one. And that's chazak, chazak, v'nis chazek. Have a great Shabbos.